and only I can hear you. If you have any questions, I'll stop and say, Sister Sheikah has a question, and then you relay the question to me, and I'll relay it to the brothers. All right? All right. All right. Let's get started. Today, this evening, we're going to be discussing the Adept lessons of marriage. Since we already got the energy here, we got the ancestors here, we got all the ancient ones here with us, we're going to discuss the Adept lessons of marriage. We're going to learn what this thing called marriage is. These things are great now because information is good for those who are married, and it's good for those who want to get married. The term adept means a master. The term adept means one who is skilled or an expert. So this is for those who are expert in this kind of information that we're relaying to our brothers and sisters on the lessons of marriage. Okay, I'm going to go through some things, through the legal terms, what marriage is, then we're going to jump right into our ancestors. Because one thing we have to remember, that everything that we have learned about marriage, everything that we think about marriage and the traditions of marriage is coming from the European. We're coming back to what our ancestors did. We're coming back to remember and come to know what our ancestors meant, what marriage meant. All right, I want to first go to Brother C.M. Bay's book here. Here's a picture of him. He wrote a Zodiac Constitution for the Moors. He was well known in Cleveland, Ohio. He set up, I'm not sure the name of his school he had, but he had 2-volume books called The Clock of Destiny, Volume 1 and 2. He's a Moorish, he's a Moorish master astrologer. He's a Moorish constitutional lawgiver, and he's a 33rd, 360-degree master mason. Now, a lot of the brothers and sisters that's in the temples don't like C.M. Bay because they feel that, oh, you bringing masonry and all this into it. But all this was our ancient knowledge from Africa. Now, in this pamphlet here, he has the Zodiac Constitution, and there's 7 articles of laws that the Moors could follow in his group that he had. And you see Islam here, and you see the L right there is the compass and square for law. I, self, law, am master. So Islam wasn't a religion that the Prophet brought us. Islam, or Islamism, was the ancient sciences from the pyramid systems called the mystery system in Kemet, where he brought us back our ancient knowledge that predated religion. Hold on, Sister Sheikah. Good afternoon. What's up, Brother Noble? I'm doing great. That's okay. That's okay. We're just getting started. Okay, hang up. I'm gonna call you right back. All right. So Sheikah, hold on. That was Brother Noble. Good. So I'm gonna give him a call right back. Okay. So the Adept lessons of marriage. Now in C.M. Bay's Zodiac Constitution, Article 5. We're going to get into this. It's going to be some great information. And this will be a great taping for those that get the tape and study. Again, don't take nobody's word for it, or my word for it, but go do your research. Because we're going to have a lot of documentations to back up what we're saying. In Article 5, in the Zodiac Constitution, Brother C.M. Bay speaks of the immoral marriage license code against the zodiac law of nature. So he letting us right there, in the zodiac law of nature, the marriage license is immoral. It wasn't for us. He's letting us know that the marriage license that we're getting today from the European system and the traditions and customs of what the European says, that's against our nature. When you go back and watch Good Times, I remember when Thelma was telling her mom that when she get married, she wanted her and her husband to stand on top of a mountain and stand before God and make their vows to each other. And by her mother, Florida, being Christianized, she said, we better have a minister there. But we're gonna prove some things this evening. We're gonna prove some things this evening. All right, we're gonna really prove some things this evening. So he says, truth cannot be altered, and therefore needs no apology nor doctrine. So truth don't need an apology, and truth doesn't need a doctrine. So this is pretty much what we've been getting most of our lives growing up, is doctrine. We've been indoctrinated in traditions. We've been indoctrinated in customs. And that's not so. Prophet Noble Ali, in the early teens and 20s, was teaching the Moors that you must learn to worship under your own vine and fig tree. That means come unto your own traditions and customs. Stop following someone else's way of doing things. Because again, in nature, you don't see no animals stand before a preacher getting married. You don't see no animals doing these things. So it isn't a moral law in nature for us to do these things. We're going to get into it. It says, truth cannot be altered, and therefore needs no apology nor doctrine, because it is the supreme mental doctor itself for the entire human family of woman and man. Truth itself is your mental medicine you need. That's all you need. He says, thus the truth is that the sisters of the Christian daughters of the American Revolution, known as DAR, established the marriage license state right code to prevent the Moorish men and women from marrying into their Magna Carta society of white supremacy. So one main reason now you don't need the marriage license, because the daughters of the American Revolution, who was taught under the Moorish palace and courts, set up the marriage license so that we could not intermarry into them, because they knew that once we intermarry into them, we would kill them out as a people. We would kill them out. So this is in the Library of Congress. So the only thing anyone have to do now is pull up the Daughters of American Revolution on the internet, and they'll find out about the marriage license. They'll find out all these things were set up by the European women so that we could not intermarry into their families. That was one of the purposes. We're going to get into other things. Brother Simbe says, did you ever stop to think, which most of us don't really have time to do, but he said, did you ever stop to think that women and men are already married by the supreme law of nature? We're already married through the supreme law of nature. Each one of us that were born was born with our soul mate. All right? Now we're going to show the Bible too, where it says, whatever God put together, let no man put asunder. So true marriage is really a divine attribute coming from God, not man. All right? So we're married by nature. By nature, we're already married. He goes on to say, did you ever stop to think that women and men are already married by the supreme law of nature, and that a marriage license is an act of violation of the law of nature? So having a marriage license is a violation of supreme law against our divinity. The natural union between woman and man spells love and the reproduction of a child, in which a marriage license plays no part. But God said, be fruitful and multiply. That's what you're supposed to be doing. A marriage license had no part in this. This is the nature of a man and a woman. We're going to be exposing some things tonight. All right? We have not been an opportunity to have leaders to really get into the information and show us. I mean, Prophet Ali brought this information to the Moors, which I would explain and expound on some of his teachings, his lessons. The Honorable Life Muhammad taught us these things. But after them, the so-called leaders after them, they have not been